Welcome to Talking Giants presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Pennick, and we have our Saints preview. We've got Terrance Cooper, who played for the Saints for some time. Now he covers them for the Bleav in Saints podcast. And then we got Danny King coming on for weather, a fantasy draft, a very weak fantasy draft. This might be our lowest point total ever after this week. Giant factors and quick picks. Justin, how are you feeling going in to week 4 at 0-3?
Don't feel great. Don't feel great. This has been a really quick week, though. It's been a really quick week. Have you noticed that? Have you felt that also?
It's because we're coming off of week 1 where we literally waited 9 months, and then week 2 we had a 10-day layoff because of Thursday Night Football. So this is our first 7-day. This is our shortest break between games since week 17 last year.
Yeah. So quick week, but I'm excited to get back into it, I guess. I don't blame you if you have feelings of nothingness or really anything in between. So, how are you?
I'm good. It's the NFL, so there's always a path to victory, which is what we'll do on the first 20 minutes of the show is gonna, talk about their team and the path to victory. I thought about burning my 2-0 prediction on this game. I didn't. I will not. But yeah, I'm good. Before we get into it, we have some new people that have joined us. We have the Brothers Murray, which seems like a great band. Seems like the type of band I would listen to.
That is a great name for a band. Yes,
like a kind of like a hippie folk band.
Not the Murray Brothers, the Brothers Murray.
Yeah,
which I
the
like
Brothers
that.
Murray.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very which makes I feel like it could have been my band name. Like one of my best friends when we were growing up, he had a drunk uncle who lived in the shed behind him. And his name was Murray, and then we were very close. We were like brothers. That would have been a great band name for us, the Brothers Murray.
Yep.
And then one other person, a man, Mr. Sassel, Lou Sassel. Who are these musicians?
I have a feeling that may be made up, but the Justin Penis was not made up from last episode, and all those people, including Mr. Lou Sassel, went to patreon.com/talkinggiants, $2 a month. You know the drill. You get to hang out with us live while we record the shows. If you want a therapy session after we lose, sign up. Because probably ain't going to be playing Sweet Victory, but patreon.com/talkinggiants. Watch with us while we record the shows, and also you have an opportunity to win some shirts 2 times a month with some raffles. Thank you to our patrons.
All right. So the Saints are 2-1, and they look like a solid team. Let's talk about their offense first, and Jameis Winston is their quarterback now. If Drew Brees was their QB, I would kind of be like, there's really not a shot here, especially with the way the Giants' pass rush is right now. I just don't see us being able to beat Drew Brees and the Saints. But I do view Jameis Winston as a downgrade. Now he's played all right this year. Look at his numbers. They're kind of surprising when you think about the Saints being 2-1 and beating the Packers, beating the Patriots. He's only completing 60% of his passes, 149 yards per game passing. That's not what you think of when you think of Jameis. Only 6.1 yards per attempt. Now, the touchdown-interception ratio is great. 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions because he had that 5. But, versus the Packers, he had 5 touchdowns on 150 yards. So they are really reining Jameis in, but he's still making some of those same mistakes. You watch the Panthers game, and, he had some of those dumb Jameis interceptions that we kind of known for. So he's inconsistent. And now they're trying to get him to, they're just trying to turn him into a different QB where it's this short game stuff working at Alvin Kamara. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of it for him. If you're going to let Jameis be your QB, let him sling it a little bit, take some risks. But, that would be the path to victory for the Giants is to get some Jameis interceptions. And this Giants team has only had 1 interception to start the season. My Giant factor is going to be talking about interceptions. You got our cornerback 1 and cornerback 2 should severely outmatch their wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 with Deontay Harris and Marquez Callaway.
Yeah, their offense has been less efficient than ours, but our offense hasn't been able to score points, whereas the Saints, winning 2 games, they have been able to score some points. But the skill position spot for the Saints is very worrisome. We'll get to it when we talk about our fantasy draft, and there's just not a lot of options here for us on the Saints. Marquez Callaway, he was supposed to be a guy that was really supposed to step up in the absence of Michael Thomas, and that hasn't fully worked out as much as he was hyped up over the summer. Alvin Kamara has been a guy that's been very reliant on volume, where Kamara isn't typically reliant on volume. He had 20 carries week 1, still didn't average he averaged about 4 yards per carry. He had 24 carries this past week against New England, didn't even break 100 yards. So he had 89 yards. So again, that's less than 4 yards. That's not very efficient. He hasn't been overly that involved in the receiving game either. So the Saints offense, again, this is where, the key to victory for the Giants is similar to how, we were talking about the start of the season. It's going to have to be in this Giants defense really stopping what is a kind of slightly below average offense and giving the offense a lot of opportunities to put points on the board.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara, like you said, has never been a volume guy from the carry point. Like he had his most 20 carry games this season already.
Yeah.
With those two. Like he's never been that, and they cut Latavius Murray and now they got Tony Jones Jr. as their backup. Obviously not at the level of Murray or Ingram that was before him with Alvin Kamara. I mean, he's not even averaging 3.5 yards per carry, 3.4 yards per carry with that type of volume. Less than 60 yards isn't good.
That's the same thing as Saquon, by the way. They're both averaging 3.4 yards per carry.
Yeah, like that's not good for either of those guys. And you think, well, Alvin Kamara he's part of the receiving game. And I agree, and that's why I think losing Drew Brees, I think everyone focused on Drew Brees' lack of arm strength at the end, which I agree, but it's like Drew Brees was still a good QB last year. He just couldn't be at the top of the league because he couldn't stretch the ball downfield. Like he was a very efficient QB last year. Go look at his numbers. I mean, if Daniel Jones had those numbers, we would be thrilled with him if he had the numbers that Drew Brees had, and that was because Drew Brees, he knew how to do the quick game better than anybody, playing a long time, and part of that was Alvin Kamara. But Kamara, he only has 10 catches for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns. We've talked about, like, Saquon's not that involved in the receiving game. Saquon has 3 less receiving yards. Now, he doesn't have the 2 touchdowns that Kamara has.
Yeah.
But, like, Jameis and Alvin Kamara are not a good fit together, So, that's where losing Drew Brees hurts. But here is where my worry is. We don't have a pass rush. Like, we do not have a pass rush, and I think Jameis is the type of QB that if we blitz him, he'll beat us. Like, I do think you blitz Jameis, you play man coverage, I think Jameis will beat that, So you gotta throw all types of different looks at him. Like, this is a game, like, people are low on Patrick Graham. I'm not, but people are. This is a game where Patrick Graham could get people back on his side, like, because Jameis is the type of QB that Patrick Graham could have success without the lack of pass rush. Now, Terron Armstead, who might be the best left tackle in the game, is probably going to be out. If he wasn't out, it's like, okay, there's no way we're getting to the QB in this game. But Ryan Ramczyk is obviously going to be good at right tackle. Armstead, if we can pressure a little bit that backup left tackle, that is the key to having a really good game. That with Patrick Graham throwing all types of different coverages at Jameis Winston. Like, obviously you want to blitz and play some man coverage, but like, I wouldn't go into this game being like, we're going to blitz and man coverage the crap out of Jameis Winston. Like, I think that's the type of stuff Jameis beats. So there is, like, the path to victory really is through the hands of the defense this week.
Yeah, Jameis Winston has held on to the ball. His time to throw is 3.17 seconds through the first three weeks of the season, and that's the second highest in the NFL to Lamar Jackson, who obviously runs around back there and he's not spending that time in the pocket. Jameis Winston's not really running around and creating plays, improvising plays like Lamar Jackson is. So, Saints have given him time to throw the ball. His intended air yards per attempt is 9.4, which is pretty solid. So, this is the game where you said it, kind of the start, where I'm not bought back into this defense yet, whereas I know that you like the Atlanta game plan, you like that approach.
I'm not bought back in like the I'm sorry to interrupt you, but like my expectations are lower for this defense, but I think this defense is better than it was last year. It's just kind of, it's not a great defense.
But they can get me bought back in. If Patrick Graham and this defense and some of these playmakers make plays, which they haven't done the first 3 games of the season, if some of these guys can make plays, then I'll be bought back in, because this Saints offense, it's literally, I would say it's average. It's probably a little below average, but it is an average level defense. So the Falcons were a terrible offense, and if you can kind of get me back in this game on the road in the Superdome, first game back since the hurricane, if you can have a good defensive showing here, I'll be back into repping Patrick Graham.
Yeah. Yeah, I still, I like Patrick Graham. There's no doubts about that. But right now the defense is ranked 16th. And I had this conversation with Big Pat Sports Talk, and I know this is a little off topic of just Saints Giants. Is like, the Giants defense was ranked 9th last year, which is a good defense. But the 9th ranked defense shouldn't be relied on to win games. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no.
It's like a top 5, not even a top 3 defenses. Like, those are defenses that win you games and get you to the playoffs. Having the 9th ranked defense is not something to be relied on. Like, no, you still need to score. The 9th ranked defense, you still got to score a good amount of points.
And you're saying 16th. Is that in point? We're talking about points.
Yeah,
points allowed. Giants are like the top 6 worst defense in terms of EPA. So that's something to keep in mind too. But also the Giants' offense is above average in EPA, which boggles my mind since they still score points at a below average rate. So go figure.
Yep, and that's why the game comes down to who scores more points.
That's right.
So you can eat.
You can shove it.
I'm trying to think of do an EPA riddle. Like eventually points. Yeah. All right. Let's anything else on their offense you want to hit on?
No.
I mean, their tight ends Trotman and Juwan Johnson are kind of their leading receiver has like 117 yards and
hopefully we get bad Jameis. I mean, that's the hope.
That is Jameis is the decider of this game. Like if we can get bad Jameis, it doesn't mean he won't make some plays, but like Jameis, give us the ball, Jameis. Give us the ball at your own 20. How about do that? That is the key to winning this game, is Jameis giving us the ball a few times. Now let's talk about their defense. Their defense, it's good.
Uh-huh.
It is good, and the offense is bad, and it's missing players for the New York Giants. And here's my biggest worry. Cam Jordan versus Nate Solder. I feel like that's, after Von Miller, the worst matchup of the year for Nate Solder, more so than Montez Sweat and Chase Young, because Cam Jordan will go through your ass. Like Cam Jordan's not trying to beat you around the corner every play. He'll go through you. He'll work inside. He will make you work every single play. He's not going to let you know what's coming. Versus a guy like Chase Young, it's kind of easy to kind of diagnose what he's doing every play. Now he may just out-athlete you, but he's not refined. Cam Jordan is a refined player. Now he hasn't had the greatest stats this year, but he's still an awesome player. That being said, they only have 6 sacks, and one of those is Marcus Davenport, who's out. So I think the key is, Jones being able to avoid that pass rush on the Nate Solder side, and Andrew Thomas holding up against, first rounder Peyton Turner, and then another guy they have, Teno Pasarong, I think I pronounced that right.
Ooh, good job.
In 2 games, he's had 2 sacks, a tackle for a loss, and 3 QB hits, which is really good. So once again, we need Andrew Thomas is kind of being relied on, and this is the way it should be when you're picked 4th or overall. It's like you got to be good every game. It's like we can't, if he pads a bad game, does it mean he's a bad player? No, but it's like we need you to be good to win games, and I think that's been the biggest difference of Daniel Jones this year compared to year 1 and year 2. Is he's had good left tackle play, where he didn't year 1 all year. Year 2 he didn't for the first half, and then the second half it got better. But Andrew Thomas looks better than second half of last year. Andrew Thomas.
The Saints, even though they only have 6 sacks, which is the same amount as the Giants, they're ranked top 5, top 6 in QB hits, and the Giants are 25th in the NFL, so you got to keep that in mind. Sacks aren't just everything. Teams can still get a lot of pressure on the quarterback, even if they're not producing necessarily with sacks. And the Saints defense, according to DVOA and Football Outsiders, it just gives you a good overall snapshot about how efficient an offense is, and then how good defenses are at not allowing offenses to be efficient. The 3rd in the NFL, according to DVOA, 6th as a pass unit, and then 3rd as a run defense. And here's my question to you. How screwed up would it be if this is the game where Solder's benched and Peart's brought in, pretty much like the first away game from the East Coast and the first away game in a really hostile environment where there's more fans of the opposing team than the home team? Against Cam Jordan.
Here's why. Like, I know there's I want Matt Peart to start over Nate Solder, but I'm not excited about that. Like starting Matt Peart does not excite me at all. Like Peart could be worse than Solder. So I like to see, but at the same time, it's like every single week they'll be like, they have good pass rush. Like if Peart is going to start, he's got to start. So if Peart starts, I'm nervous. But if Nate Solder starts, I'm nervous too, because it's something that I've been used to seeing out there. I've seen him out there 35 times now.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, what do you think about Matt Skura most likely starting at left guard? I think we need to pray for his health.
So we asked on Wednesday or Monday. I think we definitely asked a Wednesday. Like, well, what are they doing at left guard? We don't know. And now we still fully don't know, right? We're still going off of this presumption that it's going to be Skura?
Duggan basically said that Daniel Jones all but confirmed it'll be Matt Skura at left guard.
Okay.
It's going to be, if it's not Matt Skura, I'd be surprised.
Matt Skura at left guard, not Billy Price.
Yeah, Matt Skura. I think they want to keep Billy Price at center, which I know is funny because they moved Nick Gates from center, but I think they want to leave Billy Price at center. And it might have to do with not even just this week. They might want to, slide Wes Martin in at left guard, which I don't think they're ever. By the way, how about me breaking the Isaiah Wilson news?
Ooh, that did happen. He's a big man. He's
Yeah.
he's an extremely large human being.
I have zero expectations for him to play. If he ever plays, it'll be a nice surprise. He looks so slow getting in the clips some of the beat reporters put out. He's probably 50 pounds overweight at 400 pounds. I have zero expectations for him. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. Yeah, I mean the O-line's kind of in shambles. Jones has done a good job of manipulating it with Thomas at left tackle, but it is really it's kind of comical that we've had 4 left guards in 4 games.
It's going to show it's going to show its nasty head eventually, and you just hope that it's not this game. We have Carolina coming up too, which, I mean, Carolina has like the best defense in the NFL. Short sample size, 3 weeks, but they've been playing out of their minds to start the season. Dallas has a really good front 5, front 7. Mike Parsons will be going up against Nate Solder, so it's gonna rear its ugly head eventually. Like it's bound to happen. The offensive line is bound to have a disaster game, and I kind of hope it's not coming off the back of a bad Andrew Thomas game, but also what's kept the offensive line afloat so far has been Andrew Thomas, and I hope he's not the reason why. If we do have a disaster game, I hope he's not the reason why.
They have 6 interceptions in 3 games. Do you think Daniel Jones' interception streak ends this week?
No.
You don't?
Nope. Planting my flag in the ground.
Do you think that's because just Daniel Jones, or do you think that the offense is going to stay stubborn and kind of...
We need to stop saying that Daniel Jones, like, if Daniel Jones takes more deep shots down the field, that he's more likely to throw interceptions, because that's not a valid talking point. Like, no, I'm
no, but it's not about throwing the ball deep. It's it's not having pre-snap. It's about post-snap reads and compared to pre-snap reads.
No, but you were just like, is the offense going to continue to stay stubborn? And that's what I thought that you meant.
What?
You said I thought the offense was, or is the offense going to stay stubborn? And that's what I thought that you meant about not throwing the ball down the field.
Yeah, I don't think the interceptions would come from throwing the ball downfield, but if you're running those downfield concepts, there's more risk of throwing interceptions. Not on the deep passes, but on the other passes that are when you're going through. There's just more room to make mistakes in your progressions and get confused and make bad throws. So we'll see. I mean, Daniel Jones, it looks like Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton aren't going to play, so I think we'll probably get Kenny Galladay, obviously, Colin Johnson, and then Tony and Board mixing around within there too.
Any expectation for Tony's role to expand?
No, we've done this every week. I'm now at the let's see, because he played a good amount of reps last week. It's just he doesn't really fit in as just line him up and play him in this pre-snap timing offense.
Do you think this is the game? Because we're talking about the Giants offense. Do you think this is the game where, like, to start the game, we're going to see, like, we haven't seen this before. We haven't seen that before, where it's guys moving around and maybe Barkley doing something fun or Tony doing something fun? Because you always get the feeling, like, Ben McAdoo did this a couple times, and I feel like Pat Shurmur might have done this too, where coaches know that the clock is ticking, so then they'll unveil things that are kind of fun, but they'll do it just a couple times, and then they did it, and so they're done with it. Do you have a feeling that's like this game? Yeah,
I do. But that's the thing, is I don't want gadgety stuff. I just want a consistent, different philosophy on offense from this coaching staff. So yeah, are they gonna force, especially with Shep and Slayton, are they gonna force feed Tony? Yeah. That could go good, that could go really bad like it did versus Denver. But he'll definitely be involved. So let's talk about this. Because of, their DBs, because of their pass rush, Saquon needs to show up. Saquon needs to get 4 to 5 a pop in this game. And I'm not talking about like Washington, where he averaged over 4 yards per carry, but he had 141-yard carry run, and then the rest were one. Like we have to be able to run the ball in this game and get 4 to 5 yards a pop. When like there has to be kind of like a come to Jesus moment for Saquon. Be like, dude, you gotta go and start hitting these holes. And I promise you that one will break. One of them will break. Let them break naturally. Let your athleticism show up afterwards. Like how Wayne Gallman last year did that, and then he just couldn't break that last tackle a million times. Like kind of say that to him. Like if you run the way Wayne Gallman ran, we would have had so many yards last year because you break those tackles, Saquon. But you got to start running kind of through guys.
Yeah, this is a top 3 run defense as of now. I'm not expecting it. Like, yes, like we need it, but again, I'm just not expecting it. I really am not.
Yeah, the expectations for the offense have to be pretty low right now because Saquon's not running well, the run game's not working. And the passing game isn't producing big plays.
Yep.
So, and it's against a defensive backfield that can ruin your day. Eventually Daniel Jones will throw another interception. I know it's fun to joke about right now. It's like he's like one of 5 QBs who hasn't thrown an interception. He hasn't thrown an interception since Tampa last year. That wasn't bounced off Evan Ingram's hands. But eventually he will throw an interception, and hopefully it won't be the end of the world, even though it will be.
That's all I got, Bobby Skinner.
All right, let's send it to the interview. We have Terrance Cooper, former Saints wide receiver of the Bleav and Saints podcast. All right, we now welcome onto the program to preview the Saints game Terrance Cooper, former NFL wide receiver, played for the Saints, played for the Chiefs, played for some other teams, and now he covers the Saints for the Bleav and Saints podcast. Terrance, how are you doing? How are you feeling about the Saints 3 weeks in? Because it's kind of been first time without Drew Brees in forever.
Uh-huh. You know what? I'm feeling good, but I feel even better about the Saints. This is they're in a great situation right now. Going into week 4 at 2-1, this is what you could ask for. You couldn't ask for anything better than this situation.
You don't think you'd rather be, 3-0-3 facing the toughest part of your schedule like the Giants? I mean, that's where we are right now. And it's brutal, but you know what? Perfect spot for an upset game. So I mentioned no Drew Brees, and Jameis is put in. And Jameis is like one of the most complicated QBs in the game because his highs are so high and his lows are so low. And I think that's been shown up so far with you guys. Good game versus Saints, but like week 1 had 5 touchdowns, not a ton of yards like you see from Jameis, but 5 touchdowns. And then versus the Panthers, you not only turnovers, you see like the really bad turnover side of Jameis. What are we getting with Jameis Winston as the Saints QB right now?
I think you're gonna get whatever our run game can give him. That's what you're gonna get. When Jameis Winston starts struggling, it's because our run game is not going. And one thing that the Saints are doing a great job of, especially in their 2 wins they had, they're limiting the amount of throws that he's attempting. I mean, we all know that Jameson has a history of turning the ball over, and it kind of rears its head up a little bit as well sometimes. But if the Saints continue to get the run game going and limit the amount of time that Winston is just doing drop back passing, but when he does pass, get into some play action because your run game is going well, then I think that's the game plan that you want Jameis Winston to follow. You don't want him to have to drop back 30 and 40 times throwing the ball, because we all know he's always ready to turn it over.
Yeah.
He's always ready to do it.
We know that, Daniel Jones' debut was versus Jameis in Tampa, and it was like he balled out that game, but he also had like an interception that just made no sense where he just, throws it over a guy's head to a linebacker. Now, I noticed when I was actually watching some Brian Burns film, which was, against the Saints, and I noticed that, some of his turnovers were when he got pressure and got hit and made bad throws. And part of that is Terron Armstead. Like people call him the best left tackle in the game. Is he out? And with him out, like, what do you expect from left tackle? Do you think they're just going to sub the next guy in, maybe move Ramczyk over, or what is going on with that left tackle spot?
You know what? I think he may be out. I'm not sure, but if he is out, I think that'll be a question mark for us of who we're going to put in that position. But I still feel like, with him being out, we still can establish the run game. And that's where it all stems from. I know I said it earlier, but the run game is where it's going to stem from. That is how the Saints are going to be successful when it comes to beating the Giants. They got to establish a run game, but vice versa. I feel like the Giants have to do the exact same thing. Uh, y'all have to get Saquon going. It's going to be tough for y'all to have a successful season until y'all really get him going, and y'all can really play complementary football. But like I said, the Giants, they got a couple of receivers that's out, if I'm not mistaken. So it's gonna be tough sledding this weekend.
Yeah, yeah. So with Kamara, I go, look at the stats, and it's 3.5 yards per carry. Obviously, he's a great receiving, like he's known for his receiving back, but I do think Jameis being his QB compared to Drew Brees does make a difference for him.
Mm-hmm.
What does Kamara look like as like kind of that lead dog runner where he's getting the majority of those touches, which he didn't always get in the past?
I think he's doing a great job. Of course, I feel like the game when we played, who did he lose to? Not this game, just the Panthers. When we played the Panthers, I feel like he struggled a little bit. The Saints struggled as a team, just to get in the run game going. So I feel like that is why we struggle with the Panthers. But their defense, the Saints defense, I don't know if people feel like they're underrated or they're overrated, but the Saints defense is the real deal. They're the ones that's keeping the Saints in the game. Besides offensively running the ball and being able to do things like that and keeping Winston out of certain situations. But defensively, they have been stepping up and making a ton of plays. Last week, they had 3 turnovers, one of a pick six. When your defense is holding another offensive team like that, that frees up a lot of stuff when it comes to play calling for Coach Payton.
Yeah, so let's lead into. I mean, they held the Packers to 3 points, which is, I don't know if anyone's held Aaron Rodgers to 3 points like in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots to 13. What is the identity of the defense? Is it Cam Jordan and Peyton Turner coming off the edge and playing man coverage, or are they heavies? Like, what is kind of the identity of the defense, and what are they doing to be at this such a high level?
Well, when you got a corner like Lattimore out there and you're able to put him on a team's best receiver, but it's not just one thing. They are doing it collectively. It's not like, oh, we just got one guy just standing out that's doing everything. You got guys, Lattimore, you got Jenkins, you got your D line. All those guys, all those guys are making plays. So it's hard to just key in on one position group. They feel like, okay, well, this is the reason why we're getting things done. Every position group is making plays defensively, but the way this team is set up this year, you got to have a defense like this to continue to sustain and help the team out, not just defensively, but it helps us out offensively as well. Because like I mentioned earlier, when a defense is going out there and stopping another team's offense, it helps our offensive coordinator. It helps Sean Payton so much that now he don't have to go outside of his game plan. If he wanted to continue to establish the run game, he can stick with the run game a little bit longer because your defense is stopping the other team's offense. Whether it was vice versa, if we wasn't getting any stops defense, if the Saints wasn't getting any stops defensively, offensively, Coach Payton may have to call a few more drop back passes and put Jameis Winston in certain situations that he don't want to be in right now. So I think defensively, everybody is playing well right now.
Right. Well, so they are playing well, but every team's kind of got like that one spot. It's like, teams can attack this, whether it's, a weak side linebacker in coverage, your second outside corner, middle D line not getting pushed in the run game. Where, like, if you were attacking the Saints defense, what would you kind of like go at?
First of all, like I mentioned it earlier, I'm going to establish the run game. The run game got to get established. That's what I'm attacking. Because once you get the run game going, it just sets so many other things up for you. It sets your play action pass up. When now the fact you're getting these runs, and now you turn around, you play action. These linebackers are sucking up. You can hit some passes, some deeper passes, or you can hit them right behind the linebacker. So I feel like establishing the run game to me and getting Saquon going, that is going to be the formula to beat the Saints.
What's the atmosphere like going back into the Superdome? I mean, I know you.
It's gonna be hostile.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hostile. You get a real sense of, the same feel that the Superdome had back in 2006 when we just got back from Hurricane Katrina. our first game back in the Superdome versus the Atlanta Falcons. You're starting to get that feel of this is how it's going, especially with the Giants being 0-3. They got some guys, some key guys out. They're having a little bit of time establishing a run game. It's almost, and I hate to say it, but it's almost going to be impossible for the Giants to come down there and beat the Saints in the Superdome, and they're just getting back there because the fans are looking for something to cheer for. And with the Saints coming back 2-1, got a chance to win 2 games in a row to finish up 3-1 in the first 4 games, it's going to be tough for the Giants. But like I said, the only way the Giants going to have opportunity, I feel like, to win this game, they got to win the turnover battle, and they got to establish the run. They have to.
Yeah, it's I want to disagree with you, but it's going to be a tough matchup for the Giants this week. Terrance, if people want to hear like a Saints point of view to the preview of this game and everything, where can people find your content and your podcast?
You can go to I Bleav in Saints. You can get that on any of your podcast media outlets, whether it's Apple, whether it's Art19, whether it's Google, any of your podcast outlets. You can definitely listen to it up there. I Bleav in Saints.
All right, Terrance, I appreciate you giving some time, and maybe they play next year. Maybe the Giants turn around, make the playoffs. Probably not, and we'll do this again. Appreciate you, man.
Look, the Giants season isn't over yet. They still got plenty of time. It's not over yet.
That's the issue. Is there's so much time left in the season. We just want to move. We just want to move on and get to the draft. We got 2 first-round picks, probably a new GM. That's our biggest issue right now. Is how much time we got left in the season.
Oh, you're funny.
All right, thanks, Terrance.
All right, now.
Week 3 of football is in the books, and now it's time to review the tape and get ready for Week 4 with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. To kick off another action-packed, DraftKings is giving new customers $150 instantly when they bet $1 on any football game. Wow, man, that's a good deal. Listen up, because you don't want to miss this. Head to DraftKings Sportsbook app now and place any bet of $1 on any Week 1 game to receive $100 and $50 and free bets instantly. If Sportsbook is not yet available in your state, DraftKings still has huge cash prizes up for grabs all season long with their daily fantasy contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code JOHNBOY to receive $150 in free bets when you place a $1 bet on any football game. That's promo code JOHNBOY this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. 1 per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Reminds me of the best intro ever.
Oh, jeez. When
we had we're gonna get demonetized because of the music. Never mind, I can't play it. But it was a great intro.
Yeah, because it was hey Bobby, you're sometimes really loud or really quiet. Can you try to level it out? That's the note that I gave, a producer's note that I gave Bobby before the show. And then he just comes on screaming, "Welcome to Talking Giants!" And I was laughing at the reaction. Man. The reaction that Danny and I both had to that was very, very funny. And I only wish to see what our Patreon reacted to when you did that. That must have been really fun.
All right. We now welcome on Danny King for weather and trivia. What's the weather down like in the bayou?
I was struggling how to do this one because they're in a dome, and I was thinking do I make a joke about their roof was on fire recently? But obviously the roof must be fine. I mean, it's gonna be 78 outside, but that doesn't affect the dome. So I was thinking, do you make a hurricane joke? It crossed the mind. I'm not gonna lie, but I was like, no, soon. that'd be a bad guy move. So I was like, how can I? What's a weather report I can give since the Giants are in a dome? And I didn't expect I would have to do this early in the season. I have to break out the Middle East weather map. I had no choice. We're breaking it out early in the season this week.
Fair.
The weather. We're gonna look at Iran. It's 78 degrees. It's 2 a.m. over there, so it's kind of warm, extremely warm. It got really cool up here. It's gonna hit a high of 100 today over there. So those people are just maniacs. But yeah, it's gonna be 78, and
People are maniacs.
they are maniacs.
81 degrees in Florida right now.
Oh, so basically, what's the difference? So, I mean, if you're going to New Orleans, have fun. But I mean, like, you're gonna be in a dome. It's gonna be loud. No, it's gonna be loud.
I mean, what's the weather like outside the stadium? People got to walk there.
I mean, are we actually gonna have fans there? I mean, it's gonna be 78 degrees, obviously. It says humid and mostly cloudy. Feels like 81. Humidity is 100%, so it might just be downright disgusting. Like, absolutely disgusting.
Ew.
In New Orleans, but it's New Orleans, so if you're going to New Orleans, you should expect disgustingness.
Wow.
Nice. Do we have any trivia?
We do. I decided to take it easy this week. I felt like last week was a really mind-inducing one. So this week...
I mean, they're always hard. I don't think I've ever just known an answer
You know,
to the
we're
trivia
bad.
before.
We're really bad.
Well, I think this one could be simple. Who is the oldest player to play against the Saints for the New York Giants? So he was on the Giants, and who is the oldest player? I will say he was at least in the 2000s era, just to make life easier.
Jeff Fiegels.
Justin, what is your answer?
Yeah, there was like I feel like a Monday Night Football game where Brandon Jacobs and they played. So yeah, I'm gonna go Jeff Fiegels.
Look at that. We got an answer correct here, gentlemen. This
Yeah,
week.
it was 2011. It was, wasn't it?
No.
It was 2009.
Or no,
Weatherford.
Weatherford was
Weatherford was
punter then,
2011,
yeah.
but it was Jeff Fiegels on October 18th, 2009. He was 43 years and 225 days old. He's
The
like
Iron
literally
Man.
he's like literally the record holder for that at this point. Like his name appeared like 5 different times. It was him, Morton Anderson, Jeff Fiegels, and Eli Manning was on there as well, obviously because he was old.
The
So look at that.
Iron Man.
The Iron Man.
The king of coffin corners. And now he's the host of Big Blue Kickoff Live. All right, let's do fantasy.
He is?
Yeah, you didn't know Jeff Fiegels is on Big Blue Kickoff?
Oh,
You are really out of touch.
I thought we were talking about Eli Manning.
Oh, no.
He's
No,
the host of the Eli Manning show.
No free ads.
Sorry.
Our fantasy draft, where we draft players from each of the team we're playing and the Giants. It's a good way to match up players and to bring competition. Justin will be picking first, and he's in last place. Last year's champion. He only has 95 points. Had a good outing last week with 37. He's 33 behind the lead. I'll be picking second. I have 112 points. I won the week last week with 44 points. I'm only 15 points behind. Me and Justin both closed ground on Danny King, who's first with 128 points, 21.3 points last week. So we're gaining on you. I might be first place in this at some point this year.
Justin took Wayne Gallman, and he beat me still. Like, how'd that happen?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you took Sterling Shepard the week he got hurt, which is like you got to bank on Sterling Shepard getting hurt eventually, and you got him on the hurt week.
He also took Darius Slayton, so he lost out on some points there as well. Justin just had a solid week. Can't hate.
Who did good for me? Cordell Patterson, probably.
Cordell
Did I take him?
Patterson.
I had Cordero Patterson. You
Oh.
had
Oh, you had Pitts, didn't you?
I probably did.
I
I
had
don't.
Pitts. You had Calvin Ridley.
I also had Saquon, who scored a touchdown.
Yes,
there
was
it is.
Calvin, and Saquon had a decent receiving game
There it is.
too.
Boom.
All right, Justin, you're the first pick. Saquon, right?
No. Finally gonna pull the trigger with Kadarius. No. Alvin Kamara.
The easiest
Easy
first pick
pick.
of the year.
Easiest.
pick.
This might be one of the easiest first picks that we've had yet this year. Gets involved in the receiving game. Gets a lot of volume in the running game, especially if the Saints kind of get an early lead, which is likely because teams do that against us. He's gonna get the volume. Give me Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, I mean, very easy. So pick number 2 is extremely hard because I don't trust any of our receivers. I want to pick Kenny Galladay, but it's like, you know what? This might be the best cornerback one he's faced all year. You know, like Marshawn Lattimore is probably the best corner he's faced all year, and there's going to be more attention on him. So I can't go him. I'm just going to go Saquon. You know, like I know he'll get touches. Like there's no doubt in that. And again, he might pound it. Like he had a bad game and he had a good fantasy week last week. So I'm going to go Saquon Barkley with my first pick.
How about we just cancel the rest of the fantasy draft right now? I think
It
that's
gets
the best.
really bad after this. My big board's a mess this week.
I literally looked up players, and at one point I literally just wrote like, how is New Orleans have no one scoring points in fantasy? It's outrageous. I mean,
Their offense is not good right now.
I mean, I'm gonna have to take Kenny Galladay. Like I got to, because like I think he's the only other guy that I can rely on to get points, and I feel like I have to take a Giant. So give me Kenny. And am I gonna do it? Am I gonna take the player who I did not know of until literally Sunday at about like 1:10 when he caught his first pass?
You're going to do Colin Johnson, aren't you?
I think I'm going to do Colin Johnson. I think I'm going to take Colin Johnson because Slayton's out. Kadarius Toney, God knows what they're going to do with him. John Ross is back, and what are they going to do with John Ross, Kadarius Toney? They don't know how to use Toney, so give me Colin Johnson. Maybe he'll give me some points, like, please. I don't want any Saints. They're so bad. They don't get points.
But neither do we. I had Johnson 6 on my big board, but I still kind of like that pick. I'm going to go their top receiver, Deontay Harris. Like, he has been their number 1 receiver.
Really?
Like, he's gotten the most yards. He's gotten a touchdown. So I'm going to go Deontay Harris with my second pick.
I think that was a foolish pick.
Why? Because you love Callaway. I know. I remember you talking about him in preseason. You're all in on Callaway.
Yeah, but I'm not going to take him first because I want it to look better.
Take a Giant.
I want it to look better on the tweet on Sunday, so I'm going to take a Giant first.
For the brand.
I'm gonna take Evan Ingram because
that's not gonna look better for Giants.
That honestly, you should have taken.
I'm so out. I've never been more out on Evan Ingram.
Remember, this is a fantasy draft.
Got booed, I don't think I've ever seen a player get booed off the field that badly in the middle of a game. That was impressive booing from Giants.
Not only did he have the fumble, he had 2. Sterling Shepard went out of the game, and our chain mover, and he had 2 catches, 21 yards. I'm done. I am done. There's nothing he can have a good game. I'm done. I want him traded.
Well, that's what I'm going with. I don't feel like there's anybody else logical here.
He was 8th on my big board, so 6 isn't bad.
So I'm gonna go Marcus Callaway on the turnaround though. He's my guy. He looks really good over the summer. He hasn't put up a lot of performance. He had 3 catches through the first 2 games. But then last week against New England, he had 4 catches, 41 yards, and a touchdown. So feel like getting the supposed number 1 wide receiver in New Orleans over Michael Thomas, Callaway, at this point is not bad.
Now, the guy who's on my big board right now is Kadarius Toney. They're going to use him this week. But here, you guys want to know a stat? Every single week this year, a backup tight end has scored a touchdown versus the New York Giants. Every single week. And guess what? The Saints' backup tight end has more yards and more touchdowns than their starting tight end. So I'm going Juwan Johnson. And by the way, we kept up our streak of a player scoring a touchdown that wasn't picked in the fantasy draft every week. That was with Lee Smith with the Falcons. So I am going Juwan Johnson, the Saints' backup tight end, with my third pick. Danny, you got snake picks, last 2.
I will take Toney. I'm going to ride it again because he gave me at least some production last week.
Like 2.6 points.
2 points, but
3.6.
The 3.6 is better than 0. So I'm going to take him. And then on the snake around, you know what?
What?
Oh, no, I can't take him because he could play quarterback as well. I can't take Taysom Hill. That would be illegal.
Yeah, he listed? Wait, I have to check. Is he listed as a tight end on the fantasy app?
No, I didn't put him on here, and I would have picked him before then.
He is listed as a quarterback, so he's a no-go.
Okay, so no Taysom Hill. But that's if honestly, if you guys would have brought that up before, I would have put him on here. We would just not use his passing yards, but you didn't. So
sucks to suck. I don't even know who to take here. You guys got any good ideas here?
Come on, hurry up, because I'm like really antsy right now.
Oh, you got someone? Screw it. Give me John Ross.
Oh. Okay.
I didn't even put him on my big board. I have 0 expectations. I'm going their backup running back, Tony Jones Jr. He gets carries for them. Alvin Kamara's gotten a lot of volume. They may want to continue doing that. So I'm going their backup running back, Tony Jones Jr. I was really hoping you wouldn't make that pick. So how about that? Justin, finish it off.
Oh boy. I am going to go.
You got their starting tight end. You got CJ Board, who might get a bunch of reps.
Yeah, give me their starting tight end. Is Troutman their starting tight end?
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't gotten. I think he has 3 catches this year though. So I mean, I wanted to maybe take Chris Hogan, Ty Montgomery, but again, they just get nothing. So give me Troutman.
All right.
I'm conceding my lead this week. That's what I'm doing here.
I really want to take the lead. So to recap, Justin, you have Alvin Kamara, Evan Ingram, Marquez Callaway, and Adam Troutman. I have Saquon Barkley, Deontay Harris, Juwan Johnson, and Tony Jones Jr. Danny, you have Kenny Galladay, Colin Johnson, Kadarius Toney, and John Ross. Danny's team is totally made up of Giants wide receivers. I just realized that. All right. It is time for Giant Factors. Justin, you have the first pick this week. I hope you don't pick mine. We didn't disclose. We usually disclose because I do a Giant Factor video.
This is an on-the-spot decision that I'm going to be making right now.
So I can veto you if you pick mine.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to be Azeez.
Do it.
Okay. Azeez Ojulari. Left tackle for the Saints. Starting left tackle is out. Leading the team in sacks. 3 games, 3 sacks. Got 6 QB hits too. Got a couple pressures. You're clearly showing out to be the dude, and we kind of need you to continue to be the dude. Now, you got the sacks, but I still want to see some more pressure. If you have a 0-sack game, I do not want to see a 0 QB hit or a 0 pressure game. Put some more pressure on the quarterback, even if you don't fully get home. I want to see you get there more often, even if it doesn't result in sacks. So, you've been the dude so far. Keep carrying us, young buck. Azeez Ojulari, you are my Giant Factor.
I'm worried that Azeez is getting a little overrated right now.
Well,
and there's
yeah,
gonna be
he's not getting consistent pressure on the quarterback. He's just getting the sacks.
Right. There's this like there's I see people saying like we have our edge one, and it's like
nope.
He should be he should be number 2. Now I'm very excited for what he's done his rookie season, but it's like I am, I just, like it's we still don't have an edge rusher who's like changing the game for us.
The sack that he had last week was really impressive because it was like
big time too,
and it was a big time sack. It was an impressive sack because he beat his guy off the edge, and it wasn't like a coverage sack. Like that was
the
a
Washington
legit
one
sack.
too. Yeah, the Washington one was too. Week 1 was. I hate the term coverage sack, but there's times where it's very clearly like a coverage sack. So like it's not to say that his production is fake. It's just like I don't want to put those type of expectations on him yet. Like he's got to show me more. So, all right, my Giant Factor. This guy's been, he's kind of went back and forth with the media a little bit this week, whether it's on radio or in a presser. Nothing bad, but defending himself and his team. This guy dropped a couple of interceptions the past week. This guy is now the very clear leader of this defense with Blake Martinez gone. This guy is a very smart player, an agile player, a quick player, who is the type of player who can get an interception versus risky, bad QBs, inconsistent QBs like Jameis Winston. Logan Ryan. We need plays made by our defense. Not just a solid defensive game. We need like game-changing plays by our defense this week. And that is where you come in, Logan Ryan. I think our cornerbacks will do a good job on the outside, but you have to bait. You and Patrick Graham better be scheming stuff up with Blake gone. And you have to bait Jameis Winston into interceptions. Do it. We need it this week, Logan Ryan. We need you to be a Giant Factor. We need you to be the leader of the defense. We need you to be a playmaker. You talk about it. It's time to be about it. And he's played well this year, but we need a big play from Logan Ryan this week. Logan Ryan is my week 4 Giant Factor.
You better make up for last week because I still have nightmares about those dropped interceptions.
But that's what makes me in the Giant Factor. It's like you're getting it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's finish it now.
You made the mistakes. Get better. My Giant Factor was at once deemed Mr. Irrelevant around the NFL, but I'm not sure how irrelevant he is these days, especially the Giants fans. It's going to be Tate Crowder. When Blake Martinez went down, he became the guy that had that little green dot on the back of his helmet. He was the one lining everybody up. He was the one calling the shots. He's the one Patrick Graham, Joe Judge, all them went up to. Tate Crowder is being thrusted into a role I don't think many of us expected him to be thrusted into, and is especially this young of an NFL career. It's gonna be him and Reggie Ragland. I would have went Ragland or Crowder, but I think this is Crowder's time to show exactly what he's got. There's gonna be a lot of riding on him. It's gonna be a loud Superdome first game back for them since the hurricane hit back in August. Tate Crowder, make some plays, get an interception. Your game's the passing game. Reggie Ragland can handle the run. Get a quick little interception in there. Tate Crowder, let's do it. It's all up to Tay. He's going to have to make sure this defense is ready to rock and roll on Sunday and make sure they can catch Jameis Winston sleeping. So, Tay Crowder, get the job done. You're not Mr. Irrelevant anymore. You're the you're the voice of this current defense right now because you got to get everyone lined up. Tay Crowder, my guy, you're the Giant Factor.
So we all went defense. So I usually don't do this during show, but I nice camera work, Danny. I checked Twitter because I had a DM and it was from Snacks and he sent me So we're gonna do a live clapback on air. You guys ready for this?
What that guy Snack say?
So I responded to Carl Banks' whole 4th down thing. I said scoring on 2 drives greater than scoring on 1 drive.
My friend Carl Banks.
And he said, so now you have a newfound confidence in the OC after complaining about play calling for a season plus 3 games. Nice try.
So what are you going to respond?
Should I say, so I want to take the points when they're there?
There's no... I mean, you told me this, and I haven't gotten into an argument yet this year because I haven't made that strong of a claim. There is little to no point of arguing 4th down decision calls with somebody who doesn't already see your point of view.
I know, but I got to at least clap back.
Yeah, well...
If it was some random person, I wouldn't. But it's Carl Banks. I got to clap back.
Believe me, I've been there. I've been there more often than you, of being in a position where Carl Banks comes after you. However, your reply, he's being ratioed right now because your reply to his tweet almost has as many likes as his actual tweet. So,
well, let's see some of the replies from other people.
That's enough of a win in itself.
I know, but
let's do this after quick picks. If we have time, let's do this after quick picks.
We got time, baby. People are here. Bigger issue was the 3rd down.
It's the old way of thinking. He hasn't adapted to the NFL in the 21st century. It's just the way it is.
No, I mean it's just the false thinking that when you punt the ball, you're trusting your defense to make a stop, when that's not true. When you punt the ball when you should go for it near midfield, you're actually saying, I don't trust my offense to pick up the 1st down, and I also don't trust my defense to make a stop near midfield. When the Giants' defense last year, the time and at the point of the field that they would crank down was midfield. They would allow drives to sustain themselves from like the 0 to the 20 or to the 20 to midfield, and then they would clamp down once they got to midfield in the red zone. So it's a very bad talking point by NFL coaches saying, I wanted to punt the ball there because I wanted to trust my defense to get a stop, when that's not saying that you trust your defense. You trust your defense to get a stop at midfield if you don't get 4th down, but also it's saying that you don't trust your offense to get 3 yards when you paid Kenny Golladay how much money, you have Saquon Barkley back, you have a franchise left tackle, and you have a quarterback who can run the ball with his legs. So that's what you're saying. You have all that and you don't trust your offense, more importantly. So the whole talking point, that has to stop. I did it because I trusted my defense. No, you didn't.
You didn't.
All right, I need you guys, because I want to put a video in it, so hold on 1 second. I'm pulling up Snagit.
I mean, I could go on about 4th down decision all day. As long as
here's
nobody...
the thing is, I can't hear you. I can't have you talking because I have to pull it. I have to snag it real quick.
All right, then.
So hold on. I'll tell you when. Hold on. It's going to take me 5 seconds. All right, on the count of 3, mute. 1, 2, 3.
What? Just.
All right, you guys are fine now.
Yeah.
Did you get my cough?
No, you didn't. So you wanted to get in there and you didn't.
Because I didn't want to do that again. Because I knew if I did that while you were recording it, I knew that we would do that again.
It's just a shame that decision Joe Judge made. Going forward, sure, whatever. It was, why don't you trust Graham Gano in that situation? It's been over many times. It just doesn't make sense.
No, and it's crazy, Danny, because they had the same exact situation last week against Washington, where
you said this in the staff report.
They had a 4th and 4 from the Washington 35, which I believe that, maybe I'm getting the yard numbers wrong, but it was a 55-yard field goal. Like, what's the difference? What's the difference between a 55-yard field goal, 57-yard field goal? Joe Judge was talking about the wind, but wasn't the wind at Graham Gano's back? Wouldn't that make it easier for the ball to travel? And Joe Judge's explanation also was, starting field position, but the Giants from this past weekend had the worst average starting field position in the National Football League, and the Falcons had the 7th best average starting field position in the National Football League. So even his explanation, his reasoning, well, we wanted to play the field position game, even that didn't make any sense. So yes, Carl Banks is right in his kind of clapback or his initial tweet was, well, the Giants punted, and then the Falcons got the ball back, and then the Giants eventually scored 7. Okay, sure, that happened, but you ultimately delayed the inevitable outcome of the game, And you could have ultimately had 2 scores, like Bobby said, 2 scores instead of 1, where you didn't have to wait for us to score a touchdown, and then eventually Atlanta, so by the time Atlanta caught up, it was too late.
All right. Since I did all that, we'll go through the first 3 picks, or quick picks very quickly. I am 14-10. I went 3-5 last week. Justin, you are 12-12. Went 3-5 last week. The listeners also went 5-3, thanks to Research Rick, but they are still far behind at 10-14. Danny's first place at 17-7, went 5-3 last week. The listeners are represented by Giants, Roddy Piper. Jags at Bengals. Bengals are 7.5 points favorites. The listeners go with the Bengals. Danny, who do you have in this one? And I see you put sunglasses on, so let's do this stick.
I'm a gambling expert now, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm just an absolute genius. So
you're sharp,
John
you're
Boy.
sharp, Danny.
John Boy. Yeah, John Boy. You know where to find me. I can be your gambling expert. DraftKings promo code, whatever it was. Bengals 7.5.
Justin.
To be different, Jags plus 7.5.
I mean, I get that the Bengals are better than the Jags, but 7.5 point favorites Thursday Night Football. I got the Jags. Panthers at Cowboys. The Cowboys are 4.5 point favorites. I'm going with the Panthers. I just think they're a better team than Dallas anyways, even though Dallas has looked like the class of the NFC East. Listeners also went Panthers. Justin, what do you got on this one?
Panthers plus 4.5.
Danny.
Panthers plus 4.5.
All right, next we have the Browns at the Vikings. Vikings 2-point dogs on the road or at home. So the Browns are the favorite. Listeners went Browns -2. Danny, who do you have in this one?
I'm going to be going with, I think the Vikings have been kind of lending me the victory. You know what? I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings. What are they? +2? Give me the Vikings +2.
Justin?
I'm going Vikings +2. They got me a big win last week. That was the pick that I was most confident in, that they were, I believe, like 3.5 or 3-point home underdogs against Seattle. So give me Vikings +2. I'm kind of back in, and I'm going to be really disappointed when they have a heartbreaking loss.
I think this is Mike Zimmer facing Kevin Stefanski, who is his offensive coordinator. And, that outside zone play action, like, offense is hard to defend. But if anyone knows how to do it, it is Mike Zimmer and his defense, even though their defense hasn't really been good this year. And I think the Vikings have like a good offense right now. So I am going Vikings +2.
Dalvin Tomlinson looked really good last week, by the way.
Seahawks at 49. That's what, Leonard Williams sucks. Seahawks at 49ers.
You forgot a game.
Cardinals. Well, I screwed up the order when I wrote this down.
Got it.
I guess I'll go. Cardinals at Rams. Rams are 4.5 point favorites at home. I am going with the favorite for the first pick on here. I am going the Rams. Listener going Rams. Justin, who do you got?
Cardinals plus 4.5.
Daniel.
I'm in agreement with Justin. Cardinals plus 4.5. Kyler Murray's a beast.
Seahawks at 49ers. 49ers 2-point favorites. I know the Seahawks are 1-2, and the 49ers look decent, but I think the Seahawks are just a better team than the 49ers, so I'm going Seahawks +2. Danny.
Floss on Sunday Night Football for the Niners. I will also be taking the Seahawks +2.
Justin.
I'm also, I want to be different. 49ers -2.5 or -2, whatever you got.
Listeners went Seahawks. Colts at Dolphins, the Jacoby Brissett Bowl. Dolphins are 2-point favorites at home. Justin, who do you have?
Who is starting for the Colts?
Carson.
Phil Rivers. Carson Wentz. He's playing on 2 bad ankles.
2 sprained ankles, because what else does Carson Wentz do?
Kind of funny, honestly. Like, one sprained ankle, like, that sucks. 2 sprained ankles is funny.
Yeah. Colts are a good team. These are like 2 good teams that just can't find it at quarterback. Obviously, Tua's hurt. I'm going to take Colts +2.
Danny?
Why Cam Newton is not in Miami right now is beyond me. That's just my talking point there. Colts, what were they again? +2? +2. Give me the Colts. Carson Wentz they're gonna get their first win down in Indy, or up in Indy. No, yeah.
The Colts are gonna go 0-4. Jacoby Brissett is going to grind out a game. The Dolphins, I think, just have a better roster than the Colts, anyways. I'm going Dolphins -2. Ravens at Broncos. Broncos are a 1-point favorite at home. Ravens, have had, every game has been very tight for the Ravens, last second type games. I mean, the Raiders overtime, the Lions, a 66-yard field goal, and then the Chiefs winning that game. We all watched that on Sunday Night Football. Listeners are going Ravens +1. Justin, who do you have in this one?
I feel like every single pick that I've had so far has been plus, so I'm going to go Broncos -1. They're home. Altitude's different. This may be a wild game. Broncos -1, they kind of show out, and they have a good statement game.
I got the Ravens +1. They, I've been following Joe Rolls since, we interviewed him on the show, and he's we interview a lot of people, but it's like some are good follows for their team and some aren't. Joe Rolls is a really good one, so I'm like up to date on Broncos country. Their O-line's banged up, and that Ravens D is going to blitz the crap out of Teddy Bridgewater, and they're going to get there, unlike the Giants got there. So I'm going Ravens +1. Danny.
I have a history with Ravens. I won't dive into that story now. That's a story for a different day.
You do?
I hate this. I hate this line. It's absolutely horrendous. I absolutely hate that it's only one. Give me the Broncos. Give me my boy.
I don't like this line. Ooh, I'm again.
I don't like
expert.
I
What is this
love
line?
the board
Where'd you
this
get
week.
this? I got this at 2.5.
Boy, this is absolute crap. Like, unbelievable. I'm a gambling expert. I'm like Stu Feiner out of here. Give me the Broncos -1. The boy Pat Shurmur gets it done. Better off.
Sunday Night Football, a very emotional game. Like, this might be the most watched Sunday Night Football game ever. We got the Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucks going home to New England, the Patriots. Bucks are a 7-point favorite. Listeners are going Patriots +7. Danny.
Tom Brady's sick apparently, which is something very interesting that I've learned. He's apparently has a cold. I had a cold on Monday. I'm gonna have to take the Bucks. The Patriots. I mean, the Buccaneers are just so good. I mean, it's gonna be an emotional game. That commercial Sunday Night Football had perfection. Bravo.
I need to watch it. I'm gonna watch it right after this. I didn't see it.
It was like the Adele hello. It was great. Bucks +7. -7. They're just a better team. They're gonna embarrass Mac Jones out there.
Justin.
Tom Brady's pissed, and this is why Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, because he has this silly, stupid mentality that he's somehow an underdog. But hey, that's why he's great. That's why he's won so many games, because even though he's not an underdog, he still feels like he is. He feels like he has something to prove. Bucks -7.
You know who else has something to prove? Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time. People are forgetting that Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. And he's pissed off, too. You don't think he's pissed off? He had to watch Tom Brady win a Super Bowl last year. Not only are the Patriots going to cover, they're going to win this game.
Whoa.
I'm excited for this game. I am rooting hard for Bill Belichick and the Patriots in this game. I want to see him win. I want to see that Bill Belichick smile. I really do. And nothing makes me happier in the football world than a Bill Belichick smile. I live for this type of stuff. I got the Patriots.
Danny, can you do a quick impersonation of a Bill Belichick smile? Say something and then do the impersonation.
I'm really excited to play Tom Brady this week.
Beautiful.
The Bill Belichick smile is like, it goes like this. Look. I can't do it. All right. Score prediction for Giants Saints, Danny.
The Giants absolutely. I'm gonna take out the glasses. Giants absolutely annoyed me. I drove 6 hours. I didn't drive. I took a 6-hour drive to go watch this team on Sunday, on Eli Manning Day. Absolutely crafted bad. John Mara got booed profusely, which was absolute. Brought joy to me. I lost my voice because I also booed along with him. He ruined the ceremony by opening his mouth, but he threw a trash can. Giants are a bad team. They're a bad team. They're 0-3. Again, I think the Saints is their first game back in that dome. So it's going to be emotional. I think the Saints are going to get it done. The Giants are going to go to 0-4. They're going to lose. They're going to lose probably by like 10. Or now that I say that, they're probably going to lose by like 1 because they either lose like spectacular or they lose in close games. That's all it is. The Giants are a bad team. They're a bad team. They're embarrassing. Offensive coordinator's terrible. Defense play a little better. They're nothing. They're nothing. This is my little pet. Like, this is me standing on like my soapbox right now and like proclaiming my anger because I haven't been able to do this recently. Giants are a bad team. Saints will win. Because we're a joke of a franchise now. Let's go.
Justin.
Did you give a score,
I don't
Danny?
like this energy.
28-14.
32-18, Giants lose.
I'm sucked back in. These are the type of games the Giants win. I don't have any faith in Jameis. Patrick Graham wins us back this week. Giants 77, Saints 0. We appreciate you guys. We will see you on Monday for a victory podcast. It will happen. Believe it, and it will happen. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you then. Enjoy your weekend. But until then, Let's go, Big Blue.